So check this out, people. So it's Friday night, right? And I spend all my day in this 90-degree weather working 10 hours. Oh, terrible. Anyway, I'm glad to be home, right? So I want to continue a subject I that I was talking about recently, right? On a past video about how we tend to hate the people we love, right? And that's something that it just confuses me for some reason, right? And maybe it's because I'm naive, right? Maybe because I don't know, maybe it's something I don't understand, right? Because it doesn't work that way for me, right? When I care about somebody, I see them as family, always, right? And so when somebody I care about hurts me in any way, right? Whether physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in any way, right? Because women tend to do that, right? Women, for some reason, they want to hurt their ex-husband, their ex-boyfriends. It's always something, right? And I get it, right? Sometimes, I guess, some of us deserve it, right? There's no doubt about that. But in my experience and with the fellas that I hang out with, because I don't hang out with bums, right? All of my friends work. They all have businesses of their own. They are all married and with families. I don't hang out with single guys with no responsibilities, right? I can't learn anything from someone like that, right? So I want to be amongst people who I can learn from and where I can also contribute something and they can take something from me, right? Rather than taking it and abusing it, right? We can share with each other and learn with each other. Those are the type of people or men that I hang out with, right? And so a lot of the times, the damage that I see is not these men doing bad to their women, but their women doing bad to them, right? And a lot of the times, it's hard for me to understand, right? It's just hard for me to understand the nonsense that women talk, right? About how they want a man to. I was watching this video earlier today, right, where a woman was pointing her phone on the train, right, and she was saying, "Look at all these men. There's nothing but men here. They're all sitting down. None of them are standing up, right? And none of them are offering the women here a seat, right?" That's what she's saying on the video. And then she points her phone to a guy and says to him, "Hey, sir, why don't you offer me your seat?" And he says, "Are you pregnant?" And she says, "No." And then he says, "Are you for equality, equal rights?" And she said, "Yes." And he said, "So stand the fuck up." And I thought that was funny, right? And it's true, right? It's true because women want to be equal to men, right? They want the same things that we have. They want to be what we are, right? But when it's convenient for them, then they want to be ladies, right? Then they want the man to offer them their seat, his seat. Then they want the man to pay for her meal, her lunch, dinner, breakfast, whatever, right? But when it suits her, she wants to be the boss bitch, right? That's how most women are in this country, right? And this is why most men prefer to just sit at home playing video games. I usually criticize men like that, but I'm starting to understand. Right? If a woman allows it and she prefers that, then hey, do what you got to do, you know. But I'm trying to understand why. I'm going to put myself in the situation, right? Maybe if I do that, I'll be able to explain it better, right? If I love someone, right? This is in continuation to the last video. If I love someone, right? And they've been good to me from the beginning, we enjoyed each other's company, right? And we did things together. It was always nice. Never, ever was there a bad time, right? And for some reason, right, it didn't work out. It didn't work out. And then time goes by, right? Because life happens, right? Life happens. You move on. You keep living. You can't continue to chase someone that you're never going to catch, right? That you can't catch, right? You can't pursue someone who you call, but they don't return your calls on time, and you know, the usual, right? The things that women want, the things that women ask for, and then when the man does it, she rejects it, right? Or she rejects him, and then they've moved on, right? And you know, she's moved on and he's moved on. They both moved on, right? Why would you hate her for that? Why would I hate her for getting on with her life when I was too busy working, right? I was too busy with my family. I was too busy tending to the things and my responsibilities to tend to her, right? And even though I wanted her and even though I cared about her, it just didn't cross my mind, right? And I guess it doesn't make sense to care about someone that doesn't cross your mind, right? But what I'm saying is that when someone is too busy for you, right? So busy that they tell you they like you, they tell you they want you, they tell you they love you, they tell you they care about you, right? But they're too busy, right? They're too busy for you. They just got better things to do, right? And so you find yourself like a grown-up getting on with your life, right? Don't nobody got time for a man who doesn't have time for a woman, right? No woman has time for a man like that, and vice versa, right? It's hot. You gotta excuse me, people, because I turn off my AC when I make the video, and it is so warm tonight. It's 90 degrees out tonight, so you know, I got my rack, my towel. But anyway, and I'm exhausted, and I got too many things on my mind, and you know, I look a mess. So, but anyway, these are certain things that I just want to talk about, right? Because I'm just trying to understand why someone who loves you or cares about you, or someone who you love and care for, someone you've never been bad to, right? Someone you've never, I don't know, someone who you've been good to, right? How they can in turn then be bad to you or be evil to you or do you harm, right? Just to get back at you for whatever reason, or, you know, reasons that most men can't understand, because I could never understand that, right? And I could tell you stories about the stuff that I've been through, right? And it's just crazy. It's to the point where in the year that I've been back here, I don't look at women. I don't pursue women. I'm not interested in any American woman. They have nothing to offer. Nothing. They can't even make you a sandwich, right? And so, you know, I focus on me. I focus on my job taking care of business. Everybody got bills to pay, right? And so, I'm still trying to understand this whole thing about someone wanting to hurt you and you've never done them wrong, right? And it's always a woman. It's always a woman who's trying to hurt a man. Like, they try to wreck him financially. They try to take his kids from him. They try to mess up his relationships. They try whatever it is they have to do to hurt him, right? And what I can't understand is, from the things that I've seen and the things that I've experienced, is the women who are the evil ones, are the ones who do the most harm in the families, to the families, right? They're the ones who leave when they're unhappy. They're the ones who cheat, right? When they see a nice guy while their husband is at work paying the bills. They got two guys, one who hits it right and one who pays the bills on time, right? And that's how women are today. And so it's hard to respect or to, that's it. It's just hard to respect and trust a woman in these days, right? Because it's always, there's always an incentive for a lot of women. It's either to take your money, to take your heart, to take your soul, to take whatever they can take from you, right? Things don't always work out with people, right? There's no reason for a man to mistreat his ex-girlfriend if he sees it with another man. There's no reason for a man to mistreat his ex-girlfriend if she doesn't want to be with him, because for whatever reason, right? Especially if he loves her, right? You love somebody, you respect them, you move on, right? And the problem with people is that we think that because we love someone, right, and because we're good to them and because we're never willing to do them harm or do them wrong, we believe that they feel the same way about us and that they would never do us harm and that they would never want harm to come to us. But that is not always the case, right? And so when someone you care about hurts you, it's disappointing, right? And it's kind of like, it's like being in a car accident, right? You don't see it coming up until it hits you, and you don't even realize what's happening even after the accident, right? You find yourself, shaken up. You don't even understand why, how, or what happened, right? And I've been there, right? I've been in that same situation, right? Where I've been good to a woman, right? And for some reason, I guess maybe I'm naive, right? I believe that because I was good to her and I loved her, that she would never want to do me harm or want to do me wrong. But that's not always the case, right? I've been in relationships where a woman oh man, I could tell you stories, but I can do that at another time, right? But I've been going through so many disappointments lately, right? And it's not an emotional thing or mental thing, right? Since I've been back, I've noticed how hard financially it is for everybody, not just me, but for everyone who lives here in the US, right? I've noticed how much women have changed, how relationships and families have changed, right? Friendships, even. Everything, the way people do business, right? And I feel like I've given up. I feel like I've given up on my desire to work. Like, I'm done. I don't even want to think about it after this month. If I didn't have to wait to see my doctor before I leave on the 26th, I'd have left already, right? But I plan to leave in a few weeks. It's just it's and I know that everywhere in the world it's the same, right? People are people, women are women. It doesn't mean that because I'm living somewhere else, right? The Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, whatever, right? That I won't go through these things. Because everybody, everywhere you go, people go through things, right? And but there's a difference, right? The difference is that over there, women, men, children, they are connected, right? They're very family oriented, right? And it's something I've never seen, never experienced in my life, right? I didn't even know children were supposed to love their parents, right? I didn't realize that up until I had my own kids. And when you hear a kid tell you they love you, it's hard to understand why, right? But at least when a kid tells you they love you, you know it's real, you know it's sincere, and there's no better love than the love of a child, right? Because if you ask a kid if why they love you, they're gonna say they don't know, right? They don't know, they just do, right? And there's no better love than that type of love, when someone loves you for no reason, just because they do, right? So, you know, life is short, and we're all gonna die. We're all gonna die sooner than later. Sooner comes much sooner than people think, right? And so, you know, I'm just gonna focus. I would like to say that I want to focus on the people who matter, right? But it seems a lot of times that the people who matter, again, the people who you think that because you love them, for some reason that love radiates to them. They feel it and reciprocate, right? But no, it's not always the case. When you try to help people, they don't always need your help or want your help or even care for it, right? And so I'm just gonna officially retire, leave, and just, you know, for the first time in a very long time, just enjoy my time and relax, right? Sometimes you have to focus on the people that are most important. You got to take care of yourself, right? Because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of nobody, right? Before you can extend your hand into someone who's in a hole, right? You got to jump out of the hole first, right? You can't be in the hole with someone and you know, trying to get them out when you can't even get yourself out, right? Get yourself out first, handle your business, reach down and then, you know, help your brother, help your sister, you know, and be good to each other, you know. Listen, I'm gonna die real soon, right? Not just me, right? This isn't a prophecy. These are facts. These are things that happen, right? You're gonna die really soon. We're human. That's what happens. And there are a lot of things that I didn't understand growing up as a kid because of the way I was raised, the way I grew up. Like I said, I didn't even know children were supposed to love their parents. But as you get older and you experience life and you experience things, you get to see reality and you get to see the truth in people, right, for who they really are, right? And when you see that, it's disappointing. It really is. And the worst part about it is that I'm at this age and I'm finding these things out now. How could I not have known these things sooner? When I have friends who would disrespect women, I would get angry. I would hate that. When I had friends who would treat women like dirt, right? Like sex objects, right? Use them, abuse them, hit it and quit it. It made me angry. Up until I realized why. Up until I realized that those women don't really care. They do the same to him. That they're abusing men, they're taking advantage of them, taking their money. That's what they do, right? The majority of these women, right? And this is why they talk the way they do. This is why these men treat them the way they do, right? Talk about them the way they do. Because they know better. Unlike me, who find things out at my age. Oh, that's pathetic. It really is, right? I guess in some ways, ignorance is bliss. I guess in some ways, you know, being naive and not understanding certain things maybe it's good, but unfortunately it's not good for the person who's naive to reality, because they're the ones who get taken advantage of, right? They're the people who you should love the most, respect the most, and do the most for, because they're the ones who love you like that child who says he loves you, right? And when you ask him why, he says, I don't know. I just do, right? Because that's the kind of love that we all deserve and should have, right? The kind of love that when you think about it and you ask why, you can't understand why they love you that way, right? So, anyway, it's getting really hot in here. I'm going to turn on my AC and I'm going to chill. So, thank you people for watching. Have a good day and have a good night.